alive here. Balotelli, Aguero!
Go take it quickly, Origi!
Hello, good people. Welcome back to another episode of Prematch Muti. Tonight we've got Selo, who's got 9 reasons to be happy. We've got Coach Nick. We had a good training session today from what I could see. We've got Wonga Denga, the Dengasaurus. Obviously tough week, or tough start to the week against the Wolves. Obviously getting a little nibble there at the ankles. And then Rich, my man Rich, he got to speak to his hero this week. Tell us about that, Rich. Let's start off with Colton Cole. Let us know how that was.
Oh, it was a magnificent day yesterday, I must be honest. Came out of the blue, got a message from the producers to say that I was going to do a Q&A with Colton Cole. Didn't think much of it. And then, I got to chat with him, and little did I know, or little did I think that, we'd be connecting on Instagram. He followed me back, and now I've planned a trip over, hopefully to the UK in December, and he told me to hit him up. And we'll meet up. And he's an academy coach at West Ham for under 16s. So it's a great contact to have to maybe get into the training ground, maybe watch the lads train. Hopefully COVID will be sorted by then. It was just...
Bro, get me a job. Can you get me a job there, bro?
Yeah, bro. 100%.
A through ball in there for me, bro.
Slide me your CV. Slide me your CV, bro. Anytime.
Just take off the jersey. Just say that you support South African teams only in the UK. You kind of used to support Newcastle, but you're not feeling them anymore,
Yo, Nick, just start wearing the West Ham jersey. I agree. From here on in, you're a West Ham fan. Hammers till you die. I think just a bit of house cleaning before we continue, guys. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to subscribe. When you do that, you do grow the community, which is fantastic. Thank you, Nick, for being on time, keeping us, honest, and making you wait, guys. He's got a newborn baby. We can't make him wait. He's gonna fall asleep very soon, very, very soon. So something we got to really, really deal with. And obviously, Nicholas thinks we were waiting for you, Nick to Nick.
No. Yeah, I know, but I was just being sarcastic. But that's okay.
Yeah, right, guys. We might as well start off because again, a lot of football, a lot of things have happened. So let's kick off with the first game. We've got Wonga Denga, and it's a good thing we're starting with you because we don't know if we're going to lose you because of this internet connection. So Wolves, Arsenal. Dude, speak to us. I mean, a lot happened. Jason was watching the game while we were live on the last show, keeping us up to date. And Wonga didn't go according to plan, did it?
Nah, it didn't. At first it looked like that we had a chance, of winning the game. And then that red card, it was, it's and Mikhail just said it right. It's definitely for me a big change in the game, that red card. Taking off your central defender. Any person who takes off any team that loses Van Dijk, you've seen that. And Liverpool started their woes. But us, it's mid-game. I think even the decision, maybe there was a touch, on I can't remember the striker, but maybe there was a touch on him. It wasn't clear.
Jose. But there was a touch.
Yeah,
man.
it wasn't.
Wonga.
It was slight, and you could see. For me, I don't look at what the rules say, but for me, it was not intentional. It was not W trying to take him down and stop from scoring. He's literally trying to get around him. You can see he's literally moved back to dodge the legs, but he's made the mistake. If he's touched him, then yes, a penalty. But I don't think. Nicholas, no, it's not time. I don't think it's a red card, man. I don't think it's a red card. I think at most it's a yellow card.
He's the
rules are stupid.
Yeah.
That's the rules. What did you tell us about the offside against Man City, Wonga?
Yeah.
You told us about the rules. You gave us the letter of the. You said.
I said if it's the rules.
If it's the rules. So this one, you know what happens, right? If a player is going for the tackle, right, and is attempting to make the tackle as a last man, it's not a red card. But if the player is not trying to attempt to play at the ball, then it's a red card, and that's why Luis got the red card, because he wasn't trying to play the ball. He
Wait,
clipped the guy at the
so what
back.
you saying? So to cut you, I didn't hear the first part. You said if he's not trying to play the player, if he's trying
No,
to
if he's
pass
if he's trying
is
to
that?
play the ball, if he's trying to play the ball, it will be a penalty, but a yellow card. But if he's not trying to play the ball like he did, because he was coming from behind. So if Luis was just trying to make a slight tackle and then misses the ball but hits the guy, then it would have been a yellow card and a penalty. But he was nowhere near the ball, so he was just trying to foul the guy.
Yeah, man, I agree.
Still trying to get behind him on the other side.
But Wonga, I like how Silo's trying to whip out the book, because you like the rule book in terms of following the letters of the law, and he's 100% right. That's a red card. Luis is just doing Luis things. He was bound for it. Let's be honest. It was about that time, and he was right. He was right for the sending off.
Guys.
It's a bit harsh, but at the end of the day, it's a red card. Unfortunately,
Yeah,
it's just one of those things.
it's
I mean,
tough,
if I was a defender and that happened to me, I'd be pissed off. But I can understand why the card was shown. So it's just one of those you have to take on the chin. It was a pity for you guys because, as you said, Wonga, you guys started well, and you're playing against a Wolves team that's struggling so much. Even against 9 men, they only won by 1 goal, and that says a lot,
And also, guys, can we take Wonga? Can you take a second to just talk about Saka? Because Saka right now, dude, he's the influence he's having on this Arsenal team is very similar to a young Sterling when he was in the Liverpool squad, in my opinion. Yet he's got a little bit more to offer in the final third from a Saka perspective.
Look, Saka again. He started at, and it's. I mean, I think it's due to his hard work. I mean, he's done very well. He showed everyone. I mean, the coaches shown Arteta what he can do, and it's good that Arteta has. So we'll see. Listen, let me continue what I was saying here. Okay.
Joro, you're throwing the man off here. He can't string a sentence together.
He can't even concentrate, man. He knows it's true. That's why.
I think Saka, for me, I mean, everyone can see he started from the left back. Few games in, he goes to the left mid. Few games after that goes to left wing, and after that now he's going to the right wing, and he can probably pretty much play all those positions, but they probably won't play him back in the defense again, because up front offers so much. And I mean, even the goal that he scored that was ruled offside. I mean, that was
quality.
That finish was it was a very good finish, yeah. And I think before that he hits the post. Before that he hits the.
I think he had in those that first 10-minute spell, that 10-minute spell where you guys were just on top of them. He had 3 sort of really, really good moments. And what I really like about Saka is he tends to find himself in his positions all the time, and that's a natural thing. You can't teach players that. He's finding himself in the right place at the right time, and that's, I think, his huge strength right now.
And for me also one-on-ones, he also does very well with those. Makes the right decisions. Some the kids that are 19 years old, they when you see them in the Premier League, also often they have problems with making right decisions. But Saka, most of the time, he's making let's say good decisions when he's in that final third, and I really like that about him. Definitely for me, the best. If they say teenager, 19-year-old young player, whatever they say at the moment. I don't know how technical I want to be at it. But yeah, it helps us to have a player like that in our team, especially when our defense is not the most consistent at the moment. Pepe getting a goal.
Yes, that was my next question.
Good confidence.
Yeah, with his weaker
Pepe
foot.
Getting a goal. Yeah, with his weaker foot. The finishes, puts 2 people to bed. And then scores the goal. I think that's the sort of stuff that's what you expect from Saka. I mean from Pepe. Every now and then.
That's what you expect from.
That's
what you expect from 72 million pounds, man. Yeah,
Yeah, no, it's
but
true.
yeah, look, Wonga, that is 2 goals in 2 games, right? And I think if we go to highlights, I know you guys have mentioned his wrong foot, but what is really, really great about that goal was the fight that he showed. He creates that in the beginning. He closes Semedo, who's a complete fraud of a defender. Actually, I don't know how Barcelona got 30-something million pounds for that guy just because he was wearing a Barcelona shirt. The fact that he's played for Benfica, Barcelona, now he's made his ways to a Wolves side. That's just the agent there making some good money. He owns that Wolves club. That's all it is. Because that guy is the worst defending right back I've ever seen in my life. But he's a professional footballer. But
no
anyway,
ways, man. He's not.
Semedo,
Not
he
the
is
worst.
shocking. He
He's
is
not the worst.
shocking.
He is not the worst.
Nah,
He's not
who's
the
worse than
bro.
him right now in the Premier League defensively? Defensively, who's
Oh,
worse?
bro, there's
Who's
so
worse?
Many, bro. Yo, there's
At
so
right
many,
back.
bro.
Trent. I say Trent could also be. Trent could compete with him if he's the worst.
Look, Trent
could
at
compete
least
as well.
Trent at least stays on his feet. I'm not like I can't say much because Trent
Nah,
Trent
bro.
has suffered this season, but Semedo,
I
absolutely.
think
Fraud.
it's
Fraud.
your Portuguese eyes on it and saying, yeah, this guy's such a bad player for Portugal. He's such a bad player. He's such a bad
Dude, he
player.
doesn't even start for Portugal. Listen, if I was Portuguese, if anything, I've got to be defending. I
No,
defend all my
he-
Portuguese
But
players.
he has started a couple of games, man. He started at left back or right back. He's not the worst right back in the Premier League, man. I don't even know who's West Brom's right back, but that guy is definitely worse than him.
No, but at least you know the guy playing right back at West Brom's going to defend. That's all he's going to do. Semedo, come on, man. I don't know. Anyway, sorry, Wonga. As you last before we move on, the Leno sort of sending off. I mean, what the hell was that? What was that? I thinks he's playing volleyball.
For me, I
Look, I think he's in a
I
panic.
think it's he's in a panic. The man lost his mind there.
Yeah.
What's he doing? You got the game's done. You guys are losing 2-1. It's finished. It's finished. Now he's suspended.
Yeah.
What, for 3 games? Come on.
Yeah.
That's
So
stupid.
yeah, it's just not. He's not like he's miles ahead of the other keepers that we have. Oh no, but they brought in
But he's
this
injured.
guy Matt Ryan.
But he's
Yeah.
injured. Don't
Oh,
forget.
is it? I didn't
That's
see
why.
that.
That's
Oh,
why.
my
That's why I wasn't
goodness
on the bench.
Oh my goodness me.
So you guys will
But
be
okay,
using.
so again,
You guys will be using,
Okay.
Butterfingers for the next 2-3 games, man. You know,
and they
Ronaldo
wanted to
soon,
get
man,
rid
just
of him. That's the
Yeah.
worst of it. They wanted to get rid of him, and now he's still there. Yeah, you see that decision he made. I think everything's just in a panic, and Nick is right. It's 2-1. Maybe your team's got a chance to get back here and there, but it's effectively probably over because you only got you've only got 10 men, and he goes out there and just rather let it go past his hand. But yeah, I thought there's no chance, but I saw the replay in slow motion. I'm like, oh god.
And
We're done.
Shoro's laughing. Shoro's laughing. Leno was my keeper, so I'm very flat about that.
But it shows, I mean, he's a good keeper, and it's not something gonna get all the time,
He's a good
but not the
keeper,
best
but
time
he's
to
an
get
idiot.
it.
He's a good keeper, but he's an idiot.
No, but you see, but that's also he's a good keeper, but he's not the keeper that's gonna transform you into the top 4 side. You know what I mean? Like he's okay. He's good. Like he's not. If it's a big game, you can't trust him.
No, it's good. No, for me, it's good enough.
He's better than
It's good
Lloris.
enough.
He's better than Lloris. I think he's decent.
Yeah,
Look, Lloris
Yeah,
is
he's
a
good
shocker,
enough.
but yeah.
look at these goals that beat him. Like, did you see? I mean, yeah, you also that goal that
Moutinho hit.
was it? Yeah, Moutinho. Oh my goodness me! Yes, that was painful.
What
viewing, guys.
a
I
bullet.
would have
What a
liked watching
bullet.
it in neutral. Gee whiz! But yeah, I mean, it takes goals like that. I remember Son's goal that beat him, and then sometimes the defense really lets him down. But I think Leno does hold his own. And if you got a solid players around you, I think he's good enough to help you win titles and
Win
cups.
titles.
That's my
Okay.
opinion.
What titles
Alright.
are you going to win?
If-
Wonga?
Like I said,
Champions
you guys
League.
are missing
Champions
everything.
League.
I said, you got a solid team.
Championship playoffs.
He's good enough.
Make it into Europa League as a title now for them.
Take us serious. bro.
It's a title. It's a title. You get a huge cup. It's a title of Europa League. What are you guys saying? Hey.
All right. Well, let's not talk about huge cups. Let's talk about just the league that the guys are competing for. I mean, this result. You said you started off the show there, said 9 reasons to be happy. Let's talk about this. Let's hear this. I mean, starts off with a wild challenge there by the youngster making his first debut. Absolutely
debut, yeah.
nuts.
I feel bad for the guy. You know, I mean, it's just one of those. I think maybe he was just a bit too eager, too excited. Wanting to make an impression, and obviously then from there on the game changes. But also, you still need to score, right? You've seen multiple times when teams are playing against 10 men that they can just maybe scrape through and win 1-0 or 2-0. So Man United at least they created so many opportunities and managed to get 4 goals in the first half, which was great to see, and it allowed Solskjaer to make some changes at halftime and bring on some other guys, so they can also boost their confidence and get some minutes. So all in all, a good performance. Yeah, 9-0. Yeah, man, it's one of those. It doesn't happen too often. You know what I mean? I remember one of the last big victories that we had was the 8-2 against Arsenal. That's one that's fresh in my memory. Because they said we beat Ipswich 9-0, but at that point in time, I don't think we were getting Premier League matches in South Africa. But I remember the 8-2 against Arsenal, and other big victories. But yeah, it was good. The most important part, boosting our goal difference. We were what, nine goals behind Liverpool, and then now we're one ahead of Liverpool. And then in terms of City, in terms of goal difference, we're just only 6 goals behind City, whereas we were double digit behind. So that's good. Kept a clean sheet, even though VAR robbed Southampton of a goal, I think, because VAR is just rubbish, guys. If you
Man,
actually think about
Southampton
it,
have had a rough time though, dude.
Horrible.
The last 2 games, they've
have.
suffered.
No, they
VAR
have.
have chowed.
No, VR is definitely chowed them, but I guess they also got the benefit of not we didn't get a penalty for Cavani being tackled in the box. It was on the line, but they didn't give it as a penalty. But it's all good. It was already 4-0 at that time, so it doesn't really affect the game. But yeah, I feel bad for Southampton, and also the fact that they had 2 referees officiate against Aston Villa and officiate against Man United. They just obviously swapped roles. So against Villa, it was John Moss on the field, Mike Dean in the VAR booth. Against Man United, Mike Dean on the field, and then John Moss in the VAR booth. So it's 2 refs literally, who's obviously fucked them over in terms of the 2 offsides, which sucks, and the handball that Matty Cash had against Villa, which should have been a penalty. So yeah, man, it's tough for them. But yeah,
I want to
they've
ask
come back.
Sulo,
They've come back from a 9-0 before, so it's all good.
the Cavani incident. Yeah, do you know why they didn't give that a penalty? 'Cause I know his foot was on the line, but the contact, if you look at it technically, was out the box. Do you know why?
But as far as I thought was that if the player who's being fouled, his foot is on the line is the box, right? So obviously
That's
Cavani's
what
foot is on
yeah.
the Cavani's foot is on the line, and then he gets hit. You know what I mean? So I don't know. Man.
No, but
Wonga, there's
the
your answer.
contact is out the
Shoro's
box.
giving you the answer, right?
No, but you can't
The
listen.
contact is out the box.
You can't listen to a Real Madrid fan, man. Real Madrid are sneaky little bastards. But I won't be greedy. Let me not be greedy. I'm just happy Man United won. Yeah, let's move on to Everton.
I've got a question for you now, Silo. I know we're
Yeah.
going to be obviously focusing on the next game or the games of the weekend, but Mason Greenwood, when he starts for you guys, I think there's an awesome balance between Rashford and him, and you got 2 really quick threats going down both flanks. So what happens now on the weekend with Pogba? Does he bring him back in, or how does he manage it? Because if he brings him in, he's got to sort of change things up. And if you got a player like Greenwood, I think the player should be starting, personally speaking.
Yeah, you take out McTominay. That's a simple fact. Just take out McTominay, and let Greenwood start and let Rashford start. It's all good. I think that Solskjaer needs to use players in their best positions. You know what I mean? Liverpool need to put Henderson back in the midfield. So you need to put players back in let players play in their best positions, because you can't be using Pogba out wide, especially against Everton. You're playing at home. You need to obviously go at them. There's no need to use the package deal of McFred in the midfield. Use Pogba, use Fred. McTominay can be on the bench for once we're leading. If he wants to show up things, and he can come on in the second half, and then let Greenwood play. Greenwood had a great game. He obviously didn't score, but he had a great game in terms of creating chances and also setting up other people. So I think definitely he needs to start the next game, and Rashford as well. So I was also happy that Rashford got a goal. He deserved it. People have been on his back, but rightfully so. I think sometimes we need to be critical of players when they don't make the right decisions. And also we know that Rashford has all the potential to be quite a great player, but sometimes he just lacks that decision making in the critical moments. But I think,
to be fair, his mind's all over the place. You know, he's doing the good deed for the country apart from football. So
no,
maybe
please
maybe he
don't.
needs to be a bit more focused, maybe. But guys, James is with us. Let's give a little what's up to James. Thanks for joining us, man. We appreciate you. And so is Sandile Malinga. Sorry, thank you very much. Yeah, man. So
Shoro doesn't get a shout out, shame, man.
Shoro's been here, boy. Shoro, thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate you. Nick, here's a game, man. Here's a game we want to talk about. They had a fantastic result on the weekend. They came back pretty much deflated a little bit.
I wouldn't say deflated. I think sort of the ethos that's sort of been instilled in terms of, you know, the new style of play is still there. I mean, I think personally for the way they want to play right now, the team is not fit enough. They're pressing a lot higher up the pitch, and the guys are needing to work. Unfortunately, I don't think they've been set up. They don't have the foundation for a pressing sort of game to try and win it in areas where we can go and hurt teams. But we showed it for a good 60 minutes. I think out of the whole game, we were far better than Crystal Palace. You can look at the stats, you can look at the highlights, you can speak to Roy Hodgson, he'll tell you the same. What I will tell you is there's big problems in Newcastle United. You know, we spoke a lot about Graham Jones coming in and doing a job for us. And, you know, Bruce got a lot of flack for the fact that this guy came in and changed everything. The first thing that Steve Bruce did when we came back home to play against Crystal Palace is put Graham Jones in the stands. That's the reality. The man wasn't on the bench, no voice.
Is it?
The man was viewing the game from the stands, and he came down with 10 minutes to go.
Yeah, that is
he came down when? How many minutes to go?
10 minutes to go before halftime. So if there's any proof that the man is insecure, if there's any proof that this selection of coach was not Steve Bruce's choice, it's evident in that. Obviously, listen, guys, we started well. Shelby scored a cracker of a goal. And they scored 2 goals. Listen, they scored 2 goals. I mean, their first goal was world class itself. But they scored 2 goals in 5 minutes, and that's all they had. And they did what Crystal Palace do. Roy Hodgson sets his team up. They had 2 banks of 4, and you know what? We couldn't break them down. And then Steve Bruce did what he does. You know, at the end, we ended up with 2 defenders on the pitch. We had Shaw and Lewis. And we had, I think, 3 strikers, 4 attacking midfielders, and then the rest sort of made up its squad. We had no formation at the end. We were just trying to go whole leather. So unfortunately, there's no real plan. There's obviously a divide already. You can see it. But we're in a big problem. Brighton winning again. You know, we're 18 points from safety, I think, and I don't see where we're going to get those 18 points. I think we're good enough to get out, but it depends literally in terms of what we can.
Look, Nick, aren't you being a bit harsh though? Because you mentioned it. I mean, let's take the chances into consideration. Those first 10 minutes, in the first actually 25 minutes of the game, there were a shitload of chances, right? Yeah. We know if they take some of those. I mean, like Shorter was saying, they play Wilson. If Wilson's not doing it for you guys, it is a bit hard up front. But he puts it on a plate there for Ryan Fraser, and you could argue it's a bit criminal with the miss that he has. And Almiron also hits the crossbar. I think that second goal, it just shows you how fragile the confidence is at the moment, talking about confidence as a Liverpool fan, but how fragile it is considering, you know, they are on top of the game. They suffer that goal, and then all of a sudden there's a set piece, and the set piece, absolute shambles in a marking. I think it's Hendricks loses the runner, Cahill, and then they're reliant again. Yeah, dude, and then they're reliant on Wilson to try and but then they're reliant on Wilson to try and clear the ball. And obviously, typical striker is not going to get his head on top of that. The defender is, and Cahill wins it.
So, Claudio, you say I'm being harsh, but I've been down this road for the last 15 years of my life. Like, at the end of the day, you know, we'll have these chances. And it's the same story every week, every season, you know. And I've seen this nightmare before. I've seen this horror movie, you know, like, yes, we'll be better than teams. When we got relegated, the last time we had a better squad than most of the teams in the bottom half of the league. When we got relegated the first time, it was the same situation. There's a toxic environment. There's players there that know Steve Bruce is not good enough. And unfortunately, you know, if you Callum Wilson and you hold the ball up the way he does, I watched him for a snippet of about 10 minutes, And the way he just wins fouls, he gets into areas where he can take a shot. He holds the ball up. He is too good for us. And a guy like him will see straight through Steve Bruce. And for me, if I'm a player in that squad and I see Steve Bruce is coaching me and we're just trying to lump it forward and try and get something out of it, and the guy who's actually got us playing last week, beating Everton away from home, who are arguably challenging for the Champions League, he's put to the stands. How am I supposed to have confidence? How?
Sure.
So
what happened in the second half? In the second half, was he still in the stands?
No, so I don't know. They didn't show, and that's also skeptical. I think that Steve Bruce has got some sort of connection, and I'm not saying there's no conspiracy, but I know there's a lot of journalists that are friendly with him. There's a specific journalist, Luke Edwards. If you go follow him on Twitter, you'll see how the man defends him to the T. So I honestly think that there was you didn't see Steve Bruce on the cameras once, the whole game. But I saw a couple of photos where, Graham Jones came down towards the end of the end of the first half, and he spoke a little bit. But obviously there wasn't a voice. Steve Bruce isn't a voice. He's a dinosaur. He can't talk.
Yeah.
Look. The other dinosaur was also there. Listen, on the weekend, it was the battle of the dinosaurs. Roy Hodgson versus Steve Bruce. Who's going to outlast one another? That's what it was, unfortunately.
100%.
He's older.
The difference between Roy Hodgson, maybe here at Arcadia Shepherds in South Africa, but he knows how to defend. We don't know how to defend. We forgot how to do so. So, listen.
Shoro, what are you saying, bro?
Wilson reminds you of yourself. But I'll tell you what, you're about 10 kgs heavier than Wilson. Last I saw you, right?
No, Shoro. No. Wilson works, boy. Wilson works. You were a glamour player. You were similar to Martial. You ran when you felt like it. Am I wrong? Am I wrong there? Huh?
Nick, I think the good thing for you guys, Nick, is that I reckon there will be 3 teams worse than you this season. It's going to come down to one of those, So I think you guys will be okay.
He's right.
I think for me, lads, I think in my honest opinion, Almiron is a brand new player in the last 2 weeks, and I personally think this is because of this new coach, because he seems a bit more nimble. He wants to go forward. He expresses himself. When St. Maximin comes on the pitch, he's absolutely a terror for any defense. So if we can get him and St. Maximin playing, and Shelby, in my opinion, was unbelievable, pressing, passing the ball. If we can get these players sort of playing in a way, they will get us over the line. Steve Bruce won't get us over the line.
But Nick, I think that's what I was alluding to. Yeah, but I think that's what I was alluding to. So based on the evidence of the last 2 games, at least, look, they didn't get the results on the weekend. We know now exactly what you said, and it's clearly apparent from outside looking in that Steve Bruce he's not doing much, but this little reinvigoration from the players and the energy is coming from the other guy. And again, if you were managing your varsity cup side and all of a sudden they give you they announce an assistant coach to come work with you that you haven't chosen. I mean, of course, you're going to be somewhat, sour about that. So fair enough. But all I think I'm saying is, and it's what what Rich was alluding to, is that they've got enough to survive. And I think it's a difficult situation for you guys because, how much longer does this go on? And the other thing, I think the thing that needs to get mentioned, I sent you guys that article. I don't know who read it, if you read it, about the whole takeover. And you often speak about the takeover and whether or not this is clickbait. The issue is with with Newcastle right now and the takeover is that Mike Ashley is insistent on getting the Saudi guys to come in and buy the club, despite what's happened. It's not that Newcastle don't have other suitors. They've got other suitors. Mike Ashley wants that £350 million selling price. Cash. That's what he wants. And he wanted cash. And he's pushing for this. And that's kind of what's holding you guys up and making this whole situation worse, because it's not like anyone else can come in.
I mean, at the end of the day, Claudio, the situation's been that, and, we've had people put in, consortiums put in bids, and he's been very stringent on what he wants. Regardless of the fact I can't stand the man, I do give him credit in the sense that he wants to get rid of it. But yes, it is on his own terms. On the other side of the coin, as a businessman, you would want it on your own terms. Fair enough, But, as a fan who's been longing for just a little bit of hope and a glimmer of hope, It would be unreal just for him to get rid of it, and we can start afresh. I don't mind being a mid-table team that has a project for the next 10 years. At least I know in 10 years I might see something. But yes, we might have enough, but I just allude to sort of the past, and we've seen the story before, and I just don't trust that we will be safe until I see we safe.
Yeah, fair enough. Fair enough.
I personally think that we've got enough, and I would love to see it happen. Just one thing before we do change subjects. Another reason why I can't stand Steve Bruce is he says he's a fan. And if he was a proper fan, he would have walked already, because he wouldn't want to see his club in this state. He wouldn't want to see his club playing the football they're playing and literally dragging their feet right down to the Championship. So he can't call himself a fan. He managed Sunderland. He must go back to Sunderland, be a Mackem bastard for the rest of his life, and I don't give a shit.
I think he must retire, man. I think he must retire. The dinosaurs must move on. There's a reason they're called dinosaurs, right? They're fossils. Fossils shouldn't be there. We need to study them, not let them implement.
Allardyce, Hodgson, and Bruce need to go.
The thing is, Allardyce is a dinosaur, but he's got a track record with saving teams. Let's see what he does here. Maybe he'll get his first relegation. But if he saves them again, then you know what? He might be invincible.
This is forever, yeah.
There's no ways he's saving West Brom.
But a guy like Steve Bruce he's a cheat, man. The man says he's a good just makes me angry. Boils my blood.
All right. Wait, we want you angry, but we don't want you angry right now, because the next game we need to talk about is Burnley, Man City. Guys, this is a new record for Man City. 13 wins in a row. I think it's 6 clean sheets. The lads are the guys that they're doing the things, Man City. Top of the log. 3 points clear of United, game in hand. Yeah, who watched the game? Do you guys know what's going on here?
Yeah, as I said, guys, when do Man City score? In the first half. 2 goals, first half, clean, 0, done. Game is done. Second half, you're just waiting to finish the game. And that's what they did, man. And Jesus has got 2 goals now if you count the FA Cup, 3 goals in his last 3 games. So obviously he's coming back to form and helping them out. But yeah, they just look like a well-oiled machine, man. That partnership of Diaz and Stones is looking great at the back. Everything's working well for them. And I think obviously whatever hiccups they had at the beginning of the season, they've managed to obviously get past it. And now they're actually looking like the Man City that we all know and that we all fear. And yeah, I see them winning the league definitely. I think if they don't win it, then I don't know. Then we don't know football. We don't know football.
There's still a long way to go, but I have to agree with you, Selo. Like, honestly, I can see them beating Liverpool, and then if that happens, for me, that's one hand on the trophy, almost game over. Their midfield's looking so good. Gundogan's had the season of his life this season. They just peaked at the perfect time. I think them not playing as many games as the rest of the league at the beginning of the season, they had like 3 games to catch up, was actually a blessing in disguise for them, because they were just going under the radar in the bottom half of the table. Then bam, they just went on this run, and now they're clear. If they beat Liverpool next week, what's the gap? 10 points from Liverpool, even more.
Yeah, 10 points with a game in hand. Yeah,
points.
For me, that's that done.
Yeah,
no, true. No, I agree. I completely agree.
Yeah.
And when you look, I think it's really tough for teams now when they are facing a City, because we know last season they had their blip because of the defensive issues. They brought in the Ruben Diaz, and if you're looking at this game in particular, they've managed to fit in Stones, Laporte, and Ruben Diaz in the same back 4. That's a solid back 4. And then what's quite nice about that is they got Rodrigo sitting right in front of the 4 defenders. They've got Cancelo, who's pretty much just sort of a midfielder. The runs that he makes, he doesn't go out wide. He goes down the middle, and that's why he gets shots off at goal. It's actually, when you're looking at fullback, and also when you're looking at how they play, what I really like about them is, we're looking at Liverpool's midfield. We've got the issue we're having is we've got mechanical midfielders, and we're really reliant on the fullbacks and the front 3. We all know this. But when you're looking at City, they just get so many players in the box, and they just don't stop. There's always someone moving. And what's happening is, and I've took a screenshot here. I don't know if I haven't done this before, but I'm going to see if I can do this. Showing the shot here. If you guys are looking at this right now, this is the first goal they score, right? The ball's out wide on the far side. Look how
what are you
many
doing?
look how many white shirts.
We can't see, bro. Look how many.
Can't you see?
I can see it.
Wait.
What?
See what?
The-
Where we
The
looking?
white shirt.
No, just let me explain, dude. Let me explain. All I want to point out here.
We can't see anything. There's nothing on
That's
our
it.
screen.
We try to see. That's what we. I'm trying to see.
I can see it. I can see it.
I could see it.
Guys, what the flipper you guys
Share
looking
it
at?
with all of us. Pete. Don't discriminate us.
Just don't discriminate just because I'm above you on the log doesn't mean I can't see you now. What's happening, bro?
Okay.
He's sharing the
Anyway,
screen.
the point is this, guys. Okay, I'm gonna find another example. Give me a second. You guys keep talking about the game. I just want to highlight this point, and this just shows you how great this midfield is and how these guys work together and how Pep's got them set up. I'm gonna see if I can share my screen quickly. Share screen. Okay.
I wonder if the viewers can see it.
Well,
Yeah, that's another.
yeah,
question.
it would be nice if the viewers.
Oh,
Okay.
there
They
we
will.
go, there we go.
Oh,
Someone's
yes.
coming.
Yeah, there we go.
Oh yes,
there
yeah.
Okay, so when you guys are looking at
That's so
Come
fancy.
on.
Look at you, so
So,
fancy.
so look at this. Look at this,
Fancy.
guys. This is what I love about the City side, right? The ball's out here, right? They've just played a 1-2, okay, with
Yeah.
Murray's. Murray's is up here. They've played a 1-2. They got 1, 2, 3 players of ball watching. Look how many guys are in their box. There are actually only
Sure.
4 Burnley players. They've got legit, what is that, 5 players,
5.
white shirts in the box. This is how, when you're looking at a Liverpool are struggling to break down teams that are holding the low block. When you're looking at this, they just overload every time. And they don't just whoop in crosses. They literally play 1-2s into the box until there's nothing else the opposition can do.
Did this ball go to Gundogan?
Sure,
No,
sure.
it landed up here. So the ball went Gundogan. He comes down here.
Yes,
Sterling.
plays the ball
and he
across.
cuts it. Yes, and he plays across. That's what I'm saying. Is that this ball you can see it's a clear one for Gundogan to play it to him, and then he can just cross it in the box. That's crazy.
This is
crazy.
another example that I saw. I just thought this was unbelievable as well. So they're on the counter, right? They play the ball up here to Murray. He holds the ball. He takes one touch. Look at the white shirts throwing themselves forward into the box here. There are 4
Five
defenders.
and 4.
There are 2 guys watching the one player. These 2 are ball watching. So
6 and
4
4.
players ball watching. The rest of the midfielders are just chasing these guys, chasing shirts. And this is how they're breaking down teams. This is how they're doing it. So if you're facing a sort of City right now and you know they're keeping a clean sheet, how do you think you're going to set up and score against them? How?
No chance. Zero
Yeah,
chance.
no chance. Yeah, no. They throw so many numbers forward, and everyone in that midfield can score, and their defenders. Cancelo scoring goals. Imagine Gundogan scoring goals. Bernardo, Foden, Sterling, Mahrez. When Ferran Torres is on, he also scores. Jesus, wow, man.
Clouds, can I just say that was very professional. It felt like I was in the Premier League studio with Ian Wright and Andy Townsend on the touchscreen going, the shape wasn't great and they've just been outnumbered in the box. And then if I highlight this player, and I just draw an arrow across here.
You're right.
Excellent.
You're right.
Excellent.
I thought, and he even had different angles. That Mahrez one even had a different angle. I was like, flip, this guy even had a different angle for it.
Well, you know what,
World
guys?
class.
I don't know if you're trying to be complimentary or you're just trying to show off that you're on the PFL zone speaking to your hero, Rich. I'm not sure.
No, man, I'm being genuine. Come on, jeez.
No, but if it's from Rich, it's genuine, man. But that's cool, man. No, well done. Yeah, well done there, Claudio.
Look, it was very experimental. If it's something the guys like, we'll keep it going. But one thing, I just feel like we haven't given City enough attention, and they've kind of stuck under the radar for us.
Yeah,
and it's just one of the scenarios where Pep's got them doing the things again. And I think if we're looking, they lost David Silva. They've replaced him with Bruno Silva. Okay, they lost Company. They've now got a Diaz. And again, I like Shorter mentioning Cancelo because I don't know why if you got a Cancelo, why is Kyle Walker starting? Because Cancelo is just, he can play on the left, he can play on the right. He gives you something. That's an extra midfielder that you're playing in there. It's crazy.
It's just for rotation. I think it's for the rotational value that in the smaller games that he can play a Walker just to keep him happy. But in the big games, man, Cancelo is the guy, man. Because as you say, he cuts in, and also when Zinchenko plays, I think Zinchenko does it better than the other left back options. He also cuts into the midfield, and then they get the ball next to Rodri. So it's a 2-3-4 one basically formation, and then those guys. It's just amazing what Pep is doing with those guys.
What's incredible is, I mean, we sat here a couple of weeks ago, well, not a couple of weeks ago, the end of last year, speaking about Pep and whether or not he's going to get the sack.
That's crazy.
He had literally signed that new deal. I think
True.
he still lost the game afterwards. And
Yeah.
you know what, the man has won. He's won the Premier League. You know, he knows what it. I think he hasn't delivered on the Champions League. Obviously, I think he's going to try again. But you know, you can't write a guy like that off. I mean, with his track record, you know, he will get, if he gets the players he wants, he will get the guys playing the way in which City should be playing. You know, and they've proven it right now. Who can beat them? And
no one.
It will be quite interesting to see when the Champions League starts in the next week or so. You know, how they're going to do. Are they going to take this form into the Champions League, and they might just go on and win that, which will be incredible.
You know, I think the issue they have in the Champions League though is for some reason when they go on a run like this, the other English teams look. They've decided, okay, everyone's going to be figured out Liverpool. If we play like this, you know, they've got injuries at the back. If we deny them scoring, there's going to be every opportunity, so the confidence is there. When these English sides are playing Man City, they're going, well, no, they've got 6 games, clean sheet, it's tough for us. We sit deep. What do? Do we go forward? Then we go up the pitch. They're going to catch us on the counter. Do we sit deep? They're screwed. So there's a lot of questions that aren't being asked of Man City. When they come to the Champions League, when they play a side like a Bayern Munich or these higher profile sides, Pep Guardiola then starts going, instead of doing the same thing, he tends to, I mean, we know what he does. He tends to he overthinks it a little bit.
Tinkerman.
And I think that's his downfall. So it's going to be interesting to see. And it's going to be, I know Shorter wants us to talk about what's going to happen on Sunday, and that's coming. And it's going to be interesting what he does against Liverpool, for example, because he does respect the club, and he's sort of set up despite where Liverpool are right now. So it's going to be interesting to see how he goes about it. But the next game we need to talk about is the Aston Villa West Ham game. Selo did not think they would win. I said it was going to be a 2-2 draw, but in the end, I don't know if Lingard was the difference, but they were buzzing. They were buzzing.
Everyone was buzzing, but yeah, Rich obviously knows why they were buzzing.
Jeez, that was a magnificent performance. Honestly, to go to Villa Park and dominate a team like that the way we did, I was so proud of the performance. And to be honest, I didn't expect Lingard to start. It was a big surprise. But my God, what a performance. Honestly, like, he couldn't have had a better debut. The way that he played was exceptional. What he did, particularly what I was very impressed with, was he was getting into pockets of space in their midfield and finding little pockets to connect with Antonio. And his link-up play with Benrahma, Antonio, it was like they'd been playing together the whole season. You know, and he just brought a freshness to our team that I haven't seen. Obviously, Fornals and Bowen have had good seasons, but Lingard literally took it to a completely new level. And for him to get 2 goals is great for his confidence. You know, people were obviously skeptical about him coming in, but I always said, you know, this guy has played for England in a World Cup semi-final a couple of years ago. You know, put some respect on his name, and he did the job. Another player that was exceptional again, Thomas Souček. I mean, that first goal that he scored was clinical, like properly clinical.
That was a proper goal.
I mean, for a guy like him to score 8 goals already for us in the Premier League is magnificent. And he's already scored the same amount of goals for West Ham that Dimitri Payet did. You know, and everyone goes on about how Dimitri Payet was like one of the best players to play for West Ham. Souček has scored the same amount of goals in 13 less appearances from centre defensive midfield. You know, so he's just been magnificent. Sky's the limit for us.
I was looking at how you guys set up, and you kind of looking at the Lingard giving you that balance. And I mean, I keep seeing Lanzini on bench. That's another player you guys just have on bench. We're using when you need him, which blows my mind a little bit. But how you got Benrahma right now, and you've got Antonio, and you've got Lingard, who obviously, it is the case of him coming down to obviously a club where there's less pressure. And I think Nick Killis tweeted us saying this today, that there's less pressure, so the guy's feeling like he's the big man at the club, which is always, a player feels it, man. A player feels it when you've got other big names around. You tend to overthink a little bit, but when you go into another side where you are the big name, so to speak, you tend to either fulfill your potential, or goes the other way. In this case, he stepped in here and he's owning the space. And when you're looking at Antonio holding up the ball, every time he was given the ball, you had your runners off Benrahma and Lingard. And all of a sudden, you had 3 options every time, as opposed to just having Antonio up front. And that for me is something I was like, holy shit, there's something here. When you're talking about Souček, another sort of, I'm going to say Fellaini-esque sort of player that David Moyes kind of knows how to handle just because he's so unassuming. It's almost like the opposition kind of just lets him do his thing because they don't think he's going to hurt them. But he makes those late runs. He makes those late runs in the box, and that goal that he hits, just a quality strike.
And he proved that he's not just a headed goal scorer. You know, he proved that he can actually make a run past Antonio and actually shoot with his feet. And I think he's definitely a contender to be close by to be in a team of the season. For instance, you know, I think he's been definitely one of the best standout midfielders this season. You know, he offers so much going forward, and also that solidity in the midfield with Rice. He's been one of the best players this season, definitely in the Premier League. And what a bargain! What a bargain! You guys need to go back to Slavia Prague and say, hey guys, can we give you another 10 million, man? Because you guys give us a gem.
Yeah, look, I mean, he was a bargain, and Kufal again. I mean, I've never seen Jack Grealish be pocketed as much as he was in a game. You know, Kufal literally shut him up the entire game. Yes, he got an assist for Watkins towards the end of the game, but literally up until that point, Kufal had him in his pocket, kept him very, very quiet. And that was another bargain, 5 million from Slavia for a right back. That's been excellent for us. So whoever was our scouts for those 2 signings, honestly, deserves to be knighted, in my opinion. Honestly, brilliant work.
I think those sort of signings are going to be trickier now because of the whole EU sort of breakup play, and unless they've got enough international caps, if that's the connection, you got to make sure that player's playing internationally, because they're going to have a sort of South African issue on their hand in terms of work permits.
I agree with Akil there. A lot of Man United fans were talking about it. I was watching the United stand earlier, and they were saying, no, man, we need to definitely do a swap deal. Jesse Lingard plus 35 million pounds for Declan Rice. 35 million Jesse Lingard. Would you guys take that, Rich?
No, never. Declan Rice. Look, I mean, he hasn't been our standout player for the last 3 or 4 games. In my opinion, he's been a bit quiet for his standards. But he's still our spine. Honestly, if Declan Rice had to go, it would be a massive, massive blow to our club, because the way him and Souček have combined in the midfield, honestly, right now, they're one of the strongest midfield pairings in the league. I'd say like at least top 5 right now.
Yeah.
So yeah, and he's our leader. And it made me laugh because I watched the behind the scenes of the Villa game where they showed different angles of the goals going in, and you see Lingard score, and you just hear Declan Rice running over going, J-Lings! And it just made me laugh. There seems to be a really good spirit in and around the camp right now, and you never know. Maybe we can go on a fairy tale run and achieve something great this season. Who knows?
I think Europa League, definitely. You guys should definitely make it.
Europa League. They're 2 points from Champions League right now. And, I mean, they've lost 1 game against Liverpool.
I'm saying a definite is Europa. I'm not saying that there's a ceiling. I'm just saying definite is Europa.
No, I agree with you, Silo. We need to keep our feet on the ground. Look, I don't expect us to finish top 4. Even if we went on a crazy run, it would still be a big push. But I think Europa League is definitely a must this season, because we literally ended last season on 39 points. We're already on 38 points. After 22 games. So that just shows the improvement. We 1 point off how we finished last season. So, I mean, it just shows what a job Moyes has done.
No, he's done a great job. And I like you saying that, because Jason says, you know, at the moment, is he coach of the year? And question is, if he gets them into the Champions League spot, should he get that? Should he be called the coach of the year?
If he gets in Champions League, definitely.
If he gets Champions League, 100%. Yeah.
Definitely.
For him to take a side that was floating with... Nah, we've been in Europa League a couple of times, but we've never been Champions League. Nah.
Okay. All right. And before we move on to the game that I'm dreading to talk about, got a question. Is David Moyes came out saying before, what did you want to say, Sid? Or you say what you need to say. Say what you need to say. Just say it. Say it.
No,
Say what
let's
you
carry on.
need to say.
Let's
All
carry on,
right,
yeah?
so David Moyes said, and I think this was some mind games, but he's saying that Jack Grealish, best player in the Premier League at the moment. Thoughts on that?
Not for me. Nowhere near. He's a great player, but I hate him. I honestly hate him. Literally.
Strong.
Have you met Jeff Hendrick?
I thought you were going to say Callum Wilson. Oh, that's a new one.
Grealish needs to stop diving and just play football. If he just played football, he'd be a better player, honestly. But he has had a great season, don't get me wrong, and he is a very talented player that will probably play for England and represent them in major tournaments. But to be the best player in the league right now, I think there's a few more that are just a bit above him.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. Let's see what Akil says. He says, depends on who wins the league. If Pep wins it and West Ham finish top 6, Moyes for coach of the season. If United win it somehow, big if, and I agree with you, it should be Ole. So fair enough. I think those are valid points.
I think that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I think, guys, yeah, about this one. Wonga.
The seagulls.
Yeah. In Portuguese, they're called ciganos. They're not called ciganos. That's gypsies. Let's move on. I've gone blank there for a second.
Percy Tau, what if Percy Tau played? Would it have been more or what?
4-0.
Would have been 4-0 probably.
They didn't need to bring him on because it was such an easy game. They saved their best players for other games. So
That's true. That's true. They didn't bring him.
You know, guys, like I
You have
came
to
out.
rest players, bro. Got a long league.
But Claudio, can you just just explain to us how a team like Liverpool that has been firing on all cylinders in the past at home, not away but at home, one shot on target. Like I obviously I was watching the West Ham Villa game, and then I tuned in on the 75th minute, and they said only one shot on target so far, and I couldn't believe it, man.
Yeah.
What's going on? What's going on, Skipper?
Yeah, so it's before the game started, there was the assumption, and I think I said on Tuesday, you know, just because it's Liverpool and it's Brighton and we're playing at home, you know, we're going to win the game. But I did say on Twitter that Brighton are a good side and good form at the moment, and it was the case of a side that had just beaten Spurs. They've kept, prior to last night, 3 clean sheets. They came in there knowing exactly, they were confident, knowing, okay, Liverpool at this moment in time, 7 points out of a possible 21 against sides in the bottom half of the table. So they're going, oh, Liverpool are struggling here. We know defensively they're not sound, so we're going to push when we get a chance. And it's just the confidence. It's that sort of cheekiness that you're going up to. If you're in primary school and there's some high school guy chatting up your chick, just because you know he's got no arms, you think, you know, you can come there and slap him in the face sort of scenario. And that's kind of what it was. They're going, they've lost their guns up front there or at the back, so we can go there and slap them and see what we get out of this. And that was the scenario. And I think when that happens, when we're looking, and I know we always mention Virgil van Dijk. We always mention this. Like, it's not just the defensive quality that he brings. It's how he can distribute from the back, which is another attacking option. But we highlight the fact that Man City aren't reliant necessarily on the front three. I mean, if we're looking at them, they haven't had a striker really, a consistent striker all season, but they're still getting the goals. They're consistent at the back. I think when you're not having these big players, even though Nat Phillips did a great job against West Ham, your Salahs, your other players that are on the field, at the back of the mind, it plays a difference. There's a difference there. You're not as strong mentally going, you know, if you make one mistake or you don't take your chance, all of a sudden you start thinking, oh, but you know, Van Dijk's not at the back. Oh, so-and-so is not in the midfield. Oh, you know, this is not there. So I think it does take on its toll. And I think when you're playing at home, I think one player that I can highlight who has missed the fans, and I've said this previously before, Trent Alexander-Arnold is struggling, especially defensively, because he's got moments of lapse where he lapses because he doesn't have the fans in. He's come out saying that. So right now, and again, similar to when Man United played Arsenal, Cavani had those 2 chances. Salah had 2 chances. Look, we weren't creating many, but he did have 2 chances. If that goes in the back of the net early on, the game is very different. So it's just one of those things. That's not
Claudio, I don't buy that bullshit though. I'm being honest with you. Like, it's been nearly 7 months, 8 months they've played with no fans. Like, come on.
Which bullshit
He's a professional footballer. He's a professional footballer. Surely he gets used to it.
You're talking about Trent now?
Trent not having fans, yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
No, dude.
everyone's in
It's
the
that
same
extra.
boat.
It's that extra.
Everyone's
Well,
in
think
the same
about.
boat, though.
But think about this. Think about this, right? We mentioned the preseason. They haven't had like the best preseason. I know no one has. Liverpool in their scenario haven't. They've just come off winning the league. Okay, winning the league title. They haven't been able to celebrate it with their fans in the stands. Okay, so you coming off this high where you've worked your ass off. You finally attain the thing that you've been working off 3 seasons your ass off to get. You go in there, and the fans that helped you get across the line all of a sudden aren't there. You've got a player, they got players talking about contracts, you've got fans not in the stand. I'm telling you, deep down, it does. I'm speaking from my experience when I used to play. When I had people watching me, I was always better when I had no one watching me. It's just one of those things. Some people are better at it than others. And I think deep down, I know you don't buy into it. And Shorter here saying your varsity team can give Liverpool a go. I'd love to see that, by the way. We need to organize something like that. But I think a player like him is taking a hard hit, but also there are a lot of issues right now. You've got a player like, it's just, where do you begin, dude? Where do you want to start? Like, it's just one of those things. I don't know. What do you guys, Sel, are you looking at this? Rich, what are your thoughts?
I just can't understand how your record against teams in the bottom 6 is so poor. Like, surely, as for Liverpool playing at home, to lose to Burnley and Brighton, I mean, that for me, as a Liverpool fan, is unacceptable. You know, if I, as a West Ham fan, lost to Brighton at home or lost to Burnley at home, I'd be upset. You know, for a team that had such a good home record, yes, you've had injuries, but that squad that you put out is still more than capable of beating that Brighton team and beating them well. So I just can't understand how you guys have let it slip so badly.
I think for me, and you speak about it now, Rich, you guys went and played against Spurs, and you arguably were far superior than them. And you play against a team that's like struggling to survive in the league. I don't know. I personally, I don't know. It's a question. I'm putting this out there. Is the stimulus maybe not there anymore? Is it maybe a situation where, you know, they think they're possibly better than they are? You know, they rock up against a smaller team and, you know, they don't sort of get the result, but then they play against the Spurs in a big stadium against a Mourinho, and then they sort of deliver. I don't know. I'm posing hypotheses here to think of what is the issue with Liverpool at the moment. Obviously, the injuries are an issue. You know, they're a proven team, and when they turn it on, they absolutely turn it on. No one can beat them. But
look, I'm gonna go to what Jason's saying here, and what Akil's saying. It's 3 seasons of the same group of players. And previously, everyone was saying Liverpool never had injuries. So if you're looking at it, the same group of players running out week in, week out, playing this really, really high, intense sort of game. They're getting there. They're believing everything. Yeah. So now it's extremely demanding. And the little things like the fans, like the sort of decisions that go your way, whether or not it takes such a sort of huge impact on a player moving forward and that sort of thing. It's a 5% psychological edge that plays a difference at the end of the day. And I think when you be looking, again, the well-documented injuries, the decisions, the fans, and I know there's a lot of variables here, the shit preseason. As soon as one thing doesn't go your way, you start overthinking about one thing. You start putting the one thing in the spotlight. And then add the media and the press that all of a sudden you almost untouchable in a way to suddenly going. And we saw it towards the end of I always say a team always starts the next season how they finish it. And how did Liverpool finish the last season? They didn't finish it very well. Exactly.
They lost to Watford.
And also, guys, maybe we're being a bit too harsh here. Let's take for the fact, up until Jan, they were top of the log. So to be there with everything that they were going through, they're doing all right. I think the wheels are slowly coming off. It's raveling because the games are coming thick and fast, and they haven't had time to also prepare between games. That's another thing to consider.
Personally, like I said to you, I personally think that the evident talent of the squad and the quality of what you have is there. You guys proved it against a decent Spurs team, and you've proven to be feeble in games like Burnley and Brighton it's a big because why? And that is what we need to try and figure out. And I know you had mentioned, you know, potentially the fans. Are the fans the ones to get them over the line against weaker teams? I personally think maybe the players are dropping sort of their standards against the weaker teams. But maybe then again, in your defense, Claudio, maybe they need the fans to get them over the line. I don't know.
Look, I know we spoke. Yeah. So sorry, Wonga, you go ahead.
Yeah, when after the match, Klopp said, I mean, he's from what he said it was from what I understand, what he said, I think it's just he says players were fatigued. He would know more about that, but that was his reasoning. He's saying his players were fatigued. I'm not saying that Brighton didn't deserve the win. I mean, he even conceded that he said that Brighton they played well, they did everything well, first to win, first to the ball most of the time. And he said he didn't say it, but I think if you sum it up, the better team won. But he said his team was fatigued. That's the main reason he put it down to why they didn't.
Yeah, look, fatigue is one thing.
But also, guys, I think
that's I'm just feeling.
But the thing is as well is that the attacking component of Liverpool, right, has been devastating. You know, in terms of the season they came second, the season they won it. But then now you find yourself in a situation where if they're not firing, what else is there to bring on? Cool, Jota was the guy to bring on, but Jota is also injured now. So cool, you've got all these 4 players, right? Let's say 3 were prolific this season, and Firmino was still contributing in terms of assists and stuff. But then who else is there? Origi is not the person. Minamino hasn't been given the opportunities to be the person. Like, who else is there?
They got rid of the assassin there. They gave him to Southampton.
You know what I mean? So they gave Southampton the samurai who they didn't even give it a chance. You know. But then who else is there? Who's creating? What else is there? You know, I think last season there was a thing where they were talking about Liverpool maybe going forward they need to have a creative midfielder that can contribute. You know, I think they maybe needed a creative midfielder that can also score goals. You know what I mean? A midfielder midfielder that can give you maybe 10 goals, 10 assists. You know, in the I'm not saying a Coutinho, but I'm just saying just to lessen the burden of that front three. Jota was lessening that burden of the front three, but just another piece in the midfield, maybe.
Listen,
you know.
Guys, let's be honest. Liverpool are going to be there right to the end. You get a win this weekend, it's back. Yeah. It's back one.
It's back. No, 100%. 100%.
You know, at the end of the day, I think you guys need to sort out your shit when it comes to showing up to the smaller games, because you will show up this weekend. It's a guarantee. It's going to be a blockbuster of a game, and I won't even be surprised if you guys win. And you think Klopp's going to go? He must have thrown the hairdryer a couple of times since that game for him to come out and say another team is better. He's never done that. He's never done that. Whenever he's lost, he's always said, "Oh, we had more shots. How did I lose this game? Ha 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 ha." Like, that's what he does, you know. For him to come out,
he's got a Ferguson. He's got a Ferguson-esque sort of presence in post-match interviews.
I can guarantee you, a couple of hair dryers were thrown. There's a lot of shit going on in the change room this week, and they'll sort it out. For me, they'll sort it out. And you know what? You guys will be there at the end. But I think this weekend is very important. We'll speak about that. But yeah.
Yeah, we will speak about it. And on that note, because we can speak about this for a while, we're going to move over to our betting corner predictions. And the first game up. Let's just see. I just want to check the comments quickly before we say this, guys. We got Akil saying Liverpool's bench is not good enough for a team that won the league last year. They were relatively free, a major of injury.
Can you highlight what Jason said about the Ox, man? I saw a Liverpool fan on Twitter saying that, guys, to be honest, for what we got for 35 million pounds and a person who's got one more season left, we haven't seen the best of Ox.
And I'm gonna agree with that comment. I've worked with Ox on 2 occasions when I went overseas with photo shoots. He didn't impress me working with him personally. If I had to choose between him and Theo Walcott back then, just based on how they behaved off the pitch, I would have gone with Theo Walcott. That's my opinion. Obviously, he seems somewhat different now playing under Klopp. I don't think he was worth that money. And for example, he's brought him off the bench to give us something different, and he doesn't. So yeah, pretty much share that sentiment, right? Betting corner predictions: Spurs versus Chelsea. Let's hear it.
Are we just giving?
You can talk about the game. You can talk about the game and then give the score.
I don't know if you guys heard what Mourinho told or what Mourinho said in the media, guys.
I
You know, his
heard.
mind games. I love it. I love it, bro. He says, I've won the league with Chelsea. Ancelotti's won the league with Chelsea. Conte's won the league with Chelsea. It's not difficult to win the league with Chelsea. You know, the players are great. The club is great. You know, multiple people won the league. You know, if I was just the only one, then we can say something. But you know, so that was vintage Mourinho. But yeah, with this game, it's Tuchel's first real test. I feel it's going to be 2-1 to Chelsea. Just because Spurs just man, they're just missing. Obviously, you know, the most important player for them. So 2-1 to Chelsea. Hudson-Odoi, another man of the match. But yeah, I wish they actually let him go, man. You know, I don't like seeing other teams' players do well. I wish he had been at Bayern or something. But yeah, Hudson-Odoi, man of the match.
I don't know. I disagree with you. I think Mourinho is going to set up in a way where he knows he's not going to have as many chances. The combination with Son and Kane isn't going to be there, obviously.
Yeah.
And I think he's going to sit in and he's going to play the percentage game. I think they're going to win the game 2-1 or 1-0. They're going to win by 1 goal. Spurs.
Oh wow, Nick, I like the fact that you're backing Mourinho.
Where's
Mourinho is my idol there, bro.
Where's Roddy? I need Roddy to say something, man.
Ronnie's hiding. He came on early on and now he's over it.
I need him to say something.
So for me, I mean, initially I was leaning towards Chelsea, just because I think Mourinho was finding himself in that weird sort of that you know, there's a timeline with him, and sometimes it's accelerated, sometimes it happens later down the line. I think they started off really well, and I think it gets to the point where he starts off quite critical, but jokingly, like he jokes and he gets players on side, he gets a few players on side, and he really relies on him. And I think using a player in Kane, who is on his side, is going to be a big loss in the dressing room, and for that reason alone, apart from the stuff that Kane does on the field, I think Tuchel is going to come up with something, and he's going to win the game 2-1.
Look, I agree with Nick. In terms of, I think Mourinho knows what he has, what can happen, and the way, and so he'll set up accordingly. But I think in the end it will end up being a draw. I don't think any team will win. I think it'll be. I'll say to give it a scoreline, I'll give it 1-1. But I think they'll draw in the end.
Yeah, I'm going with a draw as well. Obviously, Tuchel's come in and they've got good results, but they haven't really been tested properly. You know, they played against a poor Wolves team and a Burnley side. Yeah, that was in decent form, but it's Burnley at the end of the day, and you're at home. You expect it to win. So I don't think it's going to be as easy as people might think. Spurs are missing Kane. That's a big miss, but I think they'll probably cancel each other out. 1-1 draw.
1-1 draw. All right.
Oh, Aston Villa, Arsenal. Yeah, man, it'll be a tough game. Arsenal, obviously, I think they want to climb back up the table again. So I think this one, I'm gonna give it a draw. I'm gonna give it a 1-1. I think obviously Villa also needs to want to rectify the loss against West Ham, and also Arsenal lost. So I think it's a 1-1.
Yeah, I'm going to go with a draw as well. I think it's also going to be a 1-1 or a 0-0. I don't see Villa getting the win. I think there'll be a lot of quality from Arsenal side, but I think there are a lot of flaws in their sort of attack and potentially their defense. So I'm going to go with a draw.
A draw. I'm going to go with an Arsenal loss, 1-0 to Aston Villa. I think Villa still have 2 games in hand. I think they've still got 2 games in hand there. And if they win those 2 games in hand, they actually go level on points with West Ham. And the fact that Villa are playing at home, I think they can take the game to Arsenal. And with no Luis, who's been there, he's been playing, let's be honest, he's been there for a while. He's been consistent. And without him, now they've got to Arteta's got to rethink things. Doesn't have Leno at the back. I think that's going to be a huge factor. So, yeah, I'm going with the Villa 1-0.
Arsenal. Yeah, look, I would have preferred us having David Luiz and at least Leno in goals. But I do think Arsenal does have a lot, especially now. I think they have a lot to offer up front. And I think they can take it. I do see them winning this game. And both teams have come from a loss, so I don't think form will matter much in this point. But I think in Arsenal's case, it's a bit worse. I mean, because it was crazy what happened. But I think in the end, Arsenal 2-1 win to Arsenal, just like Akil says there. Yeah. But I'm confident to take it.
Was this did you come up with that result? Did you see Akil say it and then you're going with that one, eh?
No, I got it 2-1. I was thinking 3, but it is too much of a bite. But I think 2-1 would be, yeah.
All right.
I'm gonna go with the draw here as well. Villa actually haven't been great in the last 5 games. I must be honest. They've hit a bit of a plateau in terms of their season. And they weren't good against us. I don't know if it was just because we had a great game or if they were poor. But Arsenal, on the other hand, they're definitely going to concede goals. So I think Villa will definitely be in the game. But yeah, I'm gonna go 2-2 draw. Both teams going to leak a few goals.
Anyone here think that Sandile is a Arsenal fan? Out of curiosity.
Has to be.
Has to be.
Has to be.
Maybe
Has to be.
just a rational oak. That's what he is.
anyone who gives 2 goals, who gives two,
Goal difference. Yeah.
goal difference. Has to be Arsenal fan.
He's one of your people, Wanga, that's for sure. He's definitely one of your people.
Come on the tune.
Come on, boys.
Fabio, thanks for joining us. Next game, Celo. Newcastle, Southampton.
Oh, Nick, my friend. The Japanese samurai is on the field. Bednarek's red card has been rescinded, so he's available for the game. And I'm sure they'll probably have more players back because that bench was just the youngsters. So yeah, man, I think it's going to be a 2-1 victory to the Saints.
Okay, well, I'm going to burst your bubble there for a second. I think they've got 6 players out. They've got 5 questionable. I think their injury list is not going to.
So if it doesn't improve,
rectify. But if there's a better time to rectify a 9-0 result, it's against Newcastle United. So I am obviously a little bit concerned. But I do think if we play anything like we played against Everton in the sort of full game, second half against Leeds and our first half against Crystal Palace, we should be able to beat a very depleted Southampton. Southampton also very similar to Aston Villa. They've sort of plateaued, dropped in form, obviously a terrible result against Man United. I think they're there for the take-in, and I think we'll win 2-0. We'll see double.
I think, Southampton have Minamino. If he's on the field, all hell can break loose. No, okay, Southampton have lost their last 4 games. Obviously, the last one was quite a demoralizing sort of defeat. They have bounced back before. Like you said, Nick, they are missing players, but I think Newcastle are going to do the thing here. I think Callum Wilson's going to, if you guys if you don't have any in your fantasy team, I think it's about the time you do get him in there, because we know that Southampton have defensive issues. So I think Wilson with 2 goals, and I think it's going to be 2-0. To Newcastle.
I've never heard you guys support my team.
I could.
We're the lads.
I definitely think Newcastle's going to take this one. Looking at just like Nick said, they've lost 9-0. They had 2 red cards. Now the next game, it's not like you lost the game and you've got your same team there. The team's going to be completely different now in the next game as well. Yeah, they probably will climb back, but I don't think this will be the game. Newcastle can take it even 3-0. I'll say 3-0 to Newcastle.
So they're missing quickly now. They're missing Yankovic, Obafemi, Smallbone, Walcott, Teller, and then questionable Diallo, Romeo, Salcillo, Vestergaard, Walker-Peters. So Walker-Peters, those are the 5 that are questionable, but Walcott, Teller, Smallbone, Obafemi, and Yankovic are definitely out. So that's 10 players. So say 3 of those players from the questionable make it. That's 7 players out. That's big.
Yeah,
that is big.
Huge.
You think we'll see that? You think we'll see the South African 17-year-old come on?
He was on the bench. He was on the bench again. He
I
keeps
think
on
you
being on
see
the
him
bench.
come on.
And obviously also that Leicester boy, the Leicester one, he needs to be given a chance, man. Like Rodgers allowed the other guys from the reserve team to go out on loan, and he said no, he doesn't want to allow him to go on loan.
Well, the first boy.
Yeah, apparently Rodgers likes him.
The first boy that got sent off was a midfielder, and I think Chalke is also a midfielder. So
Correct.
you might find that he just slots him in. You know, Houghton, what's it? Houghton Hardle.
Hussein Huttel. Yeah, that's what he does.
After the game, he's like, they send our players off, and we don't have any more players. So shame, and he's. I think he's going to have to go deep into that reserve team to try.
The youth team, yeah.
Maybe we send him a few South African flags there on Twitter there to Southampton. Maybe they'll play him. Yeah. And John Joe Shelby, I'll tell him to kick him here in the neck.
That's not a nice thing. But to be fair, when Brighton signed, when it was confirmed that Percy Tau went there, jeepers, the African Twitter dude nearly broke the internet. So maybe they should do that. We'll go crazy. Rich, you still haven't given your prediction.
I'm going to go with a draw here. Obviously, Southampton are demoralized massively, but they still have Danny Ings, Che Adams, Ward-Prowse in the midfield, Redmond that can come on and do a job. Let's not forget that they've got attacking options. So I'm going to go with the draw. For Nick's sake, I'd love Newcastle to get the win, but I just think Southampton will be really motivated to bounce back, and they'll look at Newcastle and say, this is a chance for us to get our season back on track. So I think I'm going to go with the draw. 1-1.
1-1. Silo, Fulham, West Ham, Rich, his team pushing for Champions League spot.
London derby. I'm giving Rich the win. Lingard is playing well. Ben Rama looking good as well. Antonio also. Antonio's not very good at link-up play sometimes, but he was actually very good with his link-up play against Villa. So I see a 2-0 victory to the Hammers. Nick.
What's going on there, Nick?
It's got me out there. Sorry.
We done talking about Newcastle, so you switched out there.
I was in a daze. So I actually thought it was going this way. So London derby, I do personally think West Ham will win. I personally want them to win because if Fulham get any more results, they're getting closer to where we are. So I hope you batter them, to be very honest with you. And I think you will. I love Scotty Parker, but listen, you know, they're becoming that notorious yo-yo team. So just send them back down to where they belong. And I think we're going to go with a 2-0 win for West Ham.
Yeah, look, I think Fulham have a goal in them. They have a goal in them, and the one thing that they do have going for them on this week or for this game on the weekend is that they are playing at the Cottage, and the Cottage is a tight little sort of ground. It's there's not much space to play in behind. So when we're looking at Antonio, like you said, Silo, you made a valid point. He's not really the best at holding the ball and playing link-up play, but he did do it well because he had space, I would say, during the week. So it's one of those things getting the other players in. I think Fulham can frustrate them, but if there is going to be something in the game, I think it's going to be a 1-goal difference, and I think West Ham have enough to have that. So 1-0 to West Ham. And also, Akil, I think you're very correct in your analysis there, saying, you know, we can't even go to Southampton. But we did feel bad for Southampton. That's why we gave them Taki, Minamino. So fair enough. We're trying to balance the books a little bit.
Wonga.
Is it back?
Enga.
Ah, goodness me.
What's happening?
Rich, go ahead.
I'm going to go with the West Ham win. Obviously, I'm very confident. And we've played against Fulham in the past and done the double over them the last 2 times they were in the Premier League. So I think we've got their number. But in saying that, they're fighting for their lives and they do make it tricky at home, as you said, Cloud. So it will be a tough game, but I would expect us to win it. And I think the whole West Ham squad will look at that game and see it as a massive chance to potentially break into the top 4. So I'm going to go 2-0 win to my boys.
All right.
Lingard at it again.
Blowing bubbles.
Man United versus Everton. I see us winning this game. Even though Everton have been up and down. Obviously they just beat Leeds. What's it, yesterday or day before? And then they lost to Newcastle. So their form isn't consistent as yet. But yeah, I think this one, Man United, 2-1 victory.
I think for me, we did the double on against Everton, and I just see a lot of flaws in their team. I think they, deem this glorious team under Ancelotti, but there's a lot of holes in that team. Let's start with their goalkeeper. Their goalkeeper is an absolute. How the hell is he a professional playing for England as their first choice? He's just like mistake.
So guys,
did they not have a different keeper? Did they not have a different keeper playing at the weekend?
No. For Leeds game they did, but not for his game.
Yeah. So for me, if Pickford's playing, and generally what he does is it's almost like he puts Pickford in the naughty corner. He's like, you've played shit. Go sit in the corner and think about what you've done, and then we'll bring you back next game. So if he's playing against Man United, all they have to do is put the ball on him, and he just probably will miss it because his arms are so short. So for me, I'm going to go with the Man United win, even though I'd hate to say it, but Celo, for you, I'll give it to you. I think it will be a 2-0 win for you, because at least one of them will go through his legs or his arms or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what? Pickford is horrendous, isn't he? And if we're looking at England, sort of.
Sunderland, that's why.
He's from Sunderland.
Yeah, and Jordan Henderson, he cut from the same cloth. You must watch out for that guy.
You're talking about the man who won the Champions League and the Premier League. Yeah, sure. Same cloth. Yeah, I'm sure. The thing is, England have so many options to choose from when we're looking at goalkeepers. The fact that they still, I think Gareth Southgate's going to put his job on the line because of this guy. And if he sticks with him, he's going to lose his job. I think that's a prediction from my end. But with regards to a prediction for the Man United versus Everton game, I think United, if Greenwood starts, I just like it when he plays. I think he gives them something extra. I think he also takes off a bit of pressure from Rashford when he plays up front. And if Cavani does lead the line, I think they're going to be goals there from there. And like you said, mistake-prone sort of baby dinosaur there is going to be a big issue. So I'm going to say 3-1 to Man United.
Yeah, the West Ham one, Rich, I think definitely they're going to take it. Didn't give it there. 2-0. And then the Man United one, because Man United, it's going to hurt me to say it. I think scoring 9 goals, your team is confident. But the league, the league is funny. But yeah, Man United should take it 2-0. I don't think Everton have enough to beat Man United. But then again, anything can happen, eh? At the wheel.
I'm going to go with Man United, yeah. As Nick said, Everton have actually been really quite shite in the last couple of weeks, and they've been exposed in a number of games. And I just think that United are, obviously they had a bit of a wobble, but they're looking good again. And I would expect them, with the players that they have, to get over the line quite comfortably in this one. So I'm going to go 3-1 Man United.
3-1 Man United. All right. So Celo, everyone here is saying Man United, but for the big one on the weekend, in terms of what happens with City and Liverpool.
Yeah. So yeah, with this one, I think obviously I saw Shora was asking about the lineup that City will go with. I think, I think City, they always surprise you in terms of what, the options that they decide to use on any particular day, whether it's Foden, Mahrez, Ferran Torres or Sterling in the wide areas, or even Bernardo in the wide areas, but definitely Gundogan and Rodri will start in the midfield. And obviously, the back four should be Cancelo, and what's this guy's name, and Laporte or Zinchenko.
Not Zinchenko. Zinchenko won't start, but you'll keep Laporte there.
Yeah, I'm just saying options. They have the options. But
can we just remember what Percy Tau did to Zinchenko? You think he's going to play Zinchenko?
No, I know. Yeah, he showed him. He showed him. I was actually bad. Yeah, I was actually bad remembering it now. But But yo, man, this one, I want us to catch up to Man City, right? But also, there's too many Liverpool fans that make a noise. You know what I mean? But on a pure analysis point of view, I think this is going to be a 1-1 draw.
I don't see Liverpool losing at home again. Personally, I don't think Klopp will allow that. I have a sneaky feeling that Liverpool are going to win this by 1 goal. I think it's going to be a 1-0 or a 2-1. Somehow, somewhere, I think Liverpool
1-0.
1-0 or 2-1.
So you think we're going to keep a clean sheet against City? That's interesting.
I personally think that Klopp is going to try and, I don't know, something's going to happen this week. You can't lose again at home. Your form was so good for so long. He's going to try. I can guarantee you this week he's hitting on the notes of, we were so good at home. We didn't lose. We were 63 games unbeaten or something, and now we've lost 2 in like a couple of weeks.
Yeah,
and the thing is, losing becomes a habit. I'm not saying losing in general, but losing at home will become a habit. So he needs to go and sort that out quickly before it does become a habit. So, sort of the signings that he's got in, they'll be working. Sort of night and day trying to get the squad right. I personally think Liverpool will get the 3 points.
That's an interesting. Look, I'm happy you saying that. Just based on what I've been saying the last couple of weeks, just going, they're going to correct themselves. They're going to correct themselves, and that's thinking with the heart rather than the head. You're going, they're going to pick up the 3 points. In this scenario, it's dependent on 2 things. It's dependent on how Pep Guardiola decides to set up. We do know he respects Klopp and Liverpool a lot, so he does change things a little bit for the sort of bigger game somewhat. And how they started at the Etihad this season was they played deeper and they tried to catch him on the counter, and they were successful in doing that. And that's pretty much what we've struggled with at home this season, is teams sitting deeper. And we know now with those 3 players, with Stones, Laporte and Diaz sitting, they can do that. And then they've still got the players and the bodies to commit numbers up front. So that's the worrying thing for me. The other worrying thing is Liverpool, whether or not they had the players available. Alisson missed out yesterday because he was sick. Will he be back in time? Mane is not back. If he's still struggling for fitness. Fabinho, whether he's back. If Fabinho, I know I've said this before, but if Fabinho is back and Henderson can go into the midfield, then we've got something there. Because again, I know you're laughing, but again,
no, because I love the scenario. I love it so much, man. I just love it.
It hasn't happened. It hasn't happened since I've said that.
But in all honesty, I think whatever you guys need to do, the way to win this match is to have Henderson in the midfield. Whether it's you throw the other guys at the deep end, Kovac or Davies, you have to have Henderson in the midfield, because you cannot have Shaqiri playing in the midfield in this game. You need to be dominant in the midfield. You need to have Henderson, Thiago, and Wijnaldum. That's the only way to win this game, man.
Yeah. And see, and that's my point. Whether or not if that's going to happen, then I'll say, yeah, cool. But I'm going to say, just because I am a Liverpool fan, I'm going to have to say 3-2 to Liverpool.
Yeah.
After all of that.
Okay. No, I don't see many goals in this game, especially if Man City score first. They've been very good defensively of late, and I think they want to sort of certify that point of theirs. And I think if they go and they score first against Liverpool, they've maybe, let's say 2-0 into Man City.
Yeah, I agree with.
It won't be an easy one.
I agree with City winning. I just think they're on an unstoppable train at the moment. That's going to take a lot of stopping, and I don't think Liverpool. They're definitely capable of getting a result, but I question. There's something not right there at the moment. Just looking in from the outside, obviously I can't really comment because I don't know Liverpool inside out. But I just think City right now in the form they're in, they look at this game and say, we win this, and it's basically tickets. That's the season done. So I'm going to go 2-1 Man City.
Rich. I don't like that.
As much as it hurts me to say, Skip, I'm sorry.
I like you, man. I like you. Hey.
Okay.
It is what it is.
Guys, and that pretty much wraps up the show. Thank you very much to everyone who tuned in. We appreciate it. We appreciate you. Thank you for the comments. And final thoughts before we go, everyone.
If Newcastle lose this weekend, Steve Bruce has to leave. He has to
leave.
And I there's a part of me that wants us to lose if that happens, but I just don't trust Ashley, so I don't think that's going to happen. So hopefully we can win so we can actually survive. So I actually don't know what I want.
In the famous words of Mosa, ole out.
Ole.
Ole
out.
Ole out. Steve Bruce for the United job, and I'll be happy.
Yeah, he's a legend. Would you take him? He's a legend.
No, man. Rather take other legends before him, man.
He's a legend. He lifted the trophy there. He went like this.
What's this? You must check. You must try and check out Al-Ahly's playing in the Club World Cup. They're leading 1-0. So if they win, they're gonna play Bayern Munich in the semi-finals of the Club World Cup, which will be quite epic. You know, Peter Musamani playing against Hansi Flick. That'll be actually quite dope.
Jeez, bro, that guy's already got one of the biggest egos around. Could you imagine that happen? Jeez, Louise, the world won't end. You'll come back here to South Africa and everyone will know. Everyone will know.
No, man. He's humbled himself, man. He's humble now. He's humbled himself.
I think in Egypt they will humble you, though. I think
exactly. That's why he's not speaking too much. He's just relaxed and trying to do his job now.
Yeah, bro. There's a reason they built the pyramids. They had a lot of slaves there. I think if you make one wrong mistake, they'll get rid of you quick. Anyway, guys, thank you very much. We'll see you guys on Tuesday. Enjoy the football.
All the best for your teams, guys.
Cheers.